It is 10 o'clock. This is the first day of October, 2014, and this is Wolf Spirit Radio and the Universal Mind Radio, and we are the Earth Mind Healers group, and we're here to work with Earth problems to help people understand a little more about what's going on in the nature of the reality as the galactic shifts occur. And it's an ongoing educational program, actually, in the subtle energies. And on the Sunday night show, we have an hour of discussion and teaching, and then we do an hour of healing worldwide. And it is very effective and effectual because of the group mind consciousness that we are participating in. And the more people we can bring into the calls to listen and add their energy to it, the more effective we are. And we are effecting changes out there. It's becoming more and more obvious all the time that we are having an effect, and our work is important, and it is not only beneficial to the human consciousness, but to the Devic consciousness of all living things. And so, looking at this morning, at the conditions, weather's kind of in some stable patterns right now, doing its early fall thing, and no big concerns there. Astrologically, it's kind of a weird day, and I was wondering why I just had this feeling of just being kind of contained in a bottle, and normally I can quite easily get up and go on and tune into things, but couldn't get going this morning. So let's ask our astrologers what the conditions are today. Mike, would you like to help us?
Well, we're looking at the chart. I see the sun is in square aspect to Pluto. So that could be a, conflicting, frustrating, inhibiting sort of aspect, I think. The sun's in aspect to both Saturn and Pluto today. And, there's a trine, which would normally be a beneficial aspect, but the two planets are Mars and Uranus. So we have a beneficial interaction of Mars, the warlike planet, the planet of wars and disasters, and Uranus, which would be more surprises and delusions and things of that nature. I don't see anything else as far as major, direct oppositions. Jupiter is, I suppose, is still close within orb. It's approaching an opposition to Neptune, but it's not quite directly opposite, but it's working toward an opposition, which would once the planets hit orb within, it depends on, these are big slow planets, so you might use a 6 or 7 degree kind of orb. We have two planets retrograde. Neptune and Uranus are retrograde, in retrograde motion. We've two planets just changed sign. Venus has just crossed the 180 degree mark on the wheel. Looks like it's entered Libra. Venus in Libra. Mercury is 1 degree into Scorpio. That's what I see today.
Eric, can you give us any more enlightenment on that?
No, I'm afraid not. I don't see anything exceptional.
It just feels like a heavy day to me. And so, offsetting that, is always the opportunity to bring in our galactic flow, and that gives us energy for whatever purpose we want to apply it for. And the other thing I'd like to comment about briefly before we get into our earthquake work and earth mind work is we've been working with the photon energy, because we just entered a photon belt. We've been in it for some time now, but it's intensifying. And last week we were doing some exploration of that and learned how to pull that energy directly into us. And so it is a strong vitalizing force. It does increase our frequencies. It does raise us up and get us going. And I'd like to demonstrate that now for anyone who'd like to participate as we go into our meditation, where we'll go into the earth mind. We'll pause and pull in the photon energy and energize further what our intent is in working with the earthquakes. And as always, so get ready now to go into a meditation, an earth mind meditation.
Frank, I have one more comment about that, which may help a lot of people. It just helped me in that regard about the photon belt and this new high vibratory energy that's coming our way. At times it can seem overwhelming, but you can feel that it is a high vibration, and we have to open up and relax to allow, I think, to absorb more and to realize it is new and refreshing and powerful, and not be afraid of it. No.
Well, the other thing too is it is disturbing our sleep cycles. And,
totally.
Virtually everyone that I've talked to are having trouble sustaining a good night's sleep, and looking at that for greater understanding, we don't have too much difficulty getting to sleep. But as soon as we get that deep necessary rest that's required to replenish our bodies, we come back up into the lighter stages of consciousness, a dream state again, for a second round of dreaming. And that's where we get activated and we actually wake up, because this intensity of this energy is so strong that we've had enough sleep. We've had that deep cycle, and we come back up and we wake up and feel like, well, it's time to get up, and yet it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. So what's necessary there is to realize what's happening and realize that your system does need more sleep than that. And what else are you going to do at 3 o'clock in the morning anyway? So
I get an idea on that too. Now, waking up like that, maybe it's to help us remember those heavy-duty things we're dreaming of, those new, creations, those new forms of light. And so maybe we automatically wake up so that we can actually have time to remember.
That's a good thought, because that's one of the things that does happen is your mind begins to remember, because it is active and awake, and even though your body wants to sleep, a lot of our past experiences in this lifetime come up. Little minute things that you think aren't important at all. But this can be a good period of time to do clearing work, is to just let things float up out of your subconscious that's not been released or cleared, and work on clearing those out. But at a point, don't just stay up right on through the morning doing that. Make yourself shut off that flow and step back and just relax in a deep sleep again. And you do that simply by not focusing on anything that's coming through, not putting your point of attention back on what the subconscious mind is throwing up onto your desktop to be examined. You just go blank, go neutral, and it only takes a minute or so and you're back into deep sleep again. So this is an interesting time. We are being stimulated. We are being taken up into higher levels of consciousness, and it's an important time. So it is affecting our bodies as well as our minds and our psyche and our sleep cycles. So let's experience that. Looking at the astrological influences this morning, let's see if we can use the photon energy flow to stimulate us and get us up into a higher frequency range, so we're not feeling so stuck in the mud and down and not wanting to do anything in the density of the third dimension. So close your eyes. Take your awareness up into your forehead. And this is the frontal lobes. This is the active desktop where everything is working its way through on the conscious level. But your intent now is to step back out of that conscious activity. And the first place you step into as you move back into your head is the indwelling soul, the soul center. So just get reacquainted with yourself and your soul purpose for being here for a moment or two. Having the realization that this is your identity of id, or who you are. And even though that soul memory is shut off, that's one thing that could be happening, is the photon belt is stimulating that. Now our intent, as we step back into the deeper ranges, is to lift our entire body frequency up into a higher state of awareness. So as we step back further into the psychic center, reach out and touch everyone on the psychic level and realize this is our where the subconscious rises up through the consciousness, where we can communicate with subtle energy things. And so this is the point where we want to feel and get back in touch with the photon energies that come through. And to do that, simply open up your forehead. It's just like feeling a tunnel come from through your third eye and back into the psychic center, and take your point of attention outside of yourself, out into the photon belt, out into the cosmos, and just open up and relax. And in our unified field of conscious now, we're all helping each other to do this. And you feel a presence. It's like a pressure. Begin to come into your head. Bring it all the way down into your head and drop it down into your body. And just feel your body respond to the subatomic particles that make up the light of the photon belt. And feel every cell in your body respond to the excitation, the stimulus, the energy of the photons. It just feels like your body fills up with, but it's neutralizing that denseness that we were feeling from the astrological flow before. Now, holding that open, we'll use this energy in our meditation in the earth mind work this morning. Just to step your awareness a step further back now into the subconscious mind. And feel the subconscious open up to greater attunement and awareness. Now, this is a feeling of power. And that's exactly what it is. It's power and self-awareness of what you can do with your spiritual consciousness. And a greater realization that the soul center is gaining power and awareness and expanding down through the body. Let your indwelling soul now open up and expand down through the base of the brain, down into the body. To the 0 point in your heart, with the realization that there's a triad between the polarity of your oversoul and the polarity of your undersoul, the male and female polarities of consciousness that hold the form of all things, operating with a spirit center in the heart to manifest your experience and your reality. That's the triad. That's the Father, Mother, Holy Ghost triad. But your indwelling soul is the one that is the experiential part of this. And so we feel a greatly heightened awareness of our indwelling soul and the power that we have to affect not only our own consciousness, but to reach out and touch the world through the various subtle energy fields, and to experientially be a co-creator with the divine spirit of the triad. And to do that, we drop awareness down the spine, down to the root chakra, and then on down into earth mind. This is the female polarity of earth, Mother Earth, that holds the form of all reality. Now, that's its job, is to manifest and hold the form. And this is where we find the Akashic records. The crust of the earth, silicon dioxide in the earth, is like a gigantic computer chip that holds the frequencies of every experience and everything that happens on earth. So that holds the past and everything that is, with the realization that everything that is collapses in the 0 point, and whatever is moves forward into the future to create what is. And that's working in conjunction with Oversoul, the Father principle, the male polarity. They just touch into that and bring your awareness back into the 0 point in the heart, the spirit center. Now we take our awareness once again down into earth mind with our intent now to work on any and all environmental problems on the earth. And I'm feeling something different this morning because we brought the photon energy in. I'm feeling an incredible power that's just waiting to be directed. And the direction we're going to take this morning is into the Devic forces of consciousness on earth and all the living things on earth, living or inanimate things that are suffering because of man's presence and man's depredation of the earth through domination. We're looking and feeling, expand your awareness around the earth through the subtle energy system, through the living consciousness of everything having DNA, and we feel that everything And this is part of the denseness we were feeling early this morning. We were feeling the fear of all the species on Earth that are being negatively affected. And this is in the instinctive realm, the instinctive fear that something is wrong on Earth. Is tune in to and be that instinctive fear that man is wreaking havoc upon our environmental system, the natural cycles of life. Now we want to pull in the photon energy and the galactic energy. Let the galactic energy come in through the back of your head now and out your hands. And you feel your hands, the excitement in your hands between the male and female polarity. Hold them about 8 inches apart and feel the power flowing from your hands now that are waiting for direction as to what to do with our intent. Working in the 0 point and look at the globe of the world now and hold the globe of the world between your hands and look down at the beautiful, pristine world. It looks beautiful and pristine from outside, but on the surface and inside we know we're in a lot of trouble because of man's inadvertent domination force. Now, in this state of subtle energy and the standing waves and the soul memory of Earth, we can go back in time. And so we move our awareness back in time prior to the presence of man on Earth. And we see this beautiful, pristine planet going through natural cycles of evolution and growth, species appearing and evolving, going through their cycles and disappearing according to the nature of their purpose. But we see everything in balance and harmony, including the cycles of the weather. Now we know that every 12,000 years, the Earth passes through the photon belt. As it is now, we're coming into a positive cycle. And this is so that everything on Earth can experience all things possible. The God force experiencing all things possible through DNA and all living things. We go through all cycles of potential. So in the rotation, the 24,000 year rotation, we go through positive cycles and negative cycles. We're just coming out of the 24,000 year negative cycle and are coming into the positive cycle. And we pass through the photon belt in doing that. The photon belt is what breaks down and releases the patterns and programs of the negative experience, and which allows the positive potential to experience and express. So we're moving into the positive experience now. And so our responsibility as co-creators is to consciously work with the Devic forces and the angels and all the guides and the beings that work with Earth. Our responsibility is to help release the negative patterning in Earth of the third dimensional reality of domination. We've been experiencing the last 24,000 years. So we simply use the photon energy now, direct the photon energy into the surface of Earth, into the Akashic record, so to speak, that hold the instinctive consciousness of all living species on Earth, and we release the domination force that causes stress on all living things, even to the point of losing some species. Through the power that Christ within us, we direct our intent to release the negative programming from the crust of Earth, from the hard disk of Earth. We resonate through the Earth crust the power of the positive photons belt that we're entering into. And we feel the limiting, the inhibition of forward progress in all living things. We release that now. This is working directly into the natural sciences of Earth, working as co-creators with the God force. We clear and release the negative patterns of the negative cycle of our and we see in this period the evolution of humans evolving up through domination, through all the cycles of growth and awareness they've had through their civilizations, of the light trying to shine in and being broken down. No matter what they created positively, the opposition force would break it down. We see that reversing now. And as the light shines in, the photon light, anything we create that we put our intent to, that's for the benefits of all society and all humans, begins to manifest and come into form through the power of the Christ within us. We open the radiance of the photon belt into the domination field, clearing, releasing, breaking down the domination forces. We've been there, done that, experienced the negative. Now we can grow beyond that into the positive, assuming and assimilating the powers and gifts and abilities that are ours by divine right, allowing the reassembly of the genes, the DNA strands, the 12 strands of DNA in every cell in our bodies, that we can begin the further progression of consciousness in this cycle, 12,000 year cycle. As stimulated by the photon belt. And we feel the shift, the resonance within ourselves, and we feel the flow of the galactic beings that are assisting with us in this process as our hands continue to radiate the galactic energy into the earth, directing the photon energy which is pure potential, into a magnificent world. And we see this will have to go through the process of change of consciousness. So in every living being now, every human, we see the shift from domination for survival into dominion for the empowerment of life. We feel it happen within ourselves. We feel it happen in the globe for what is happening in our unified field of our inner globe is resonating outward into the outer globe. This is all carried into the 0 point of our hearts, in direct resonance with the 0 point of Earth, the 0 point of the sun, and of our solar system. The sun is the 0 point of our solar system that manifests and holds and form our ongoing realities and potentials. We feel the sun energy, the direct radiance of the new cycle flowing into our bodies, into our hearts, into the world, into the globe between our hands. We let go of all resistance in ourselves, all the resistance forces, all the hanging on to old thoughts or ideals, realizing they are passé now, they no longer apply. We turn our attention to the future. And the new world reality appears. And I hear incredible tones coming in, and that those tones are encapsulated in a human tone. Rachael, will you please express the tone of all humanity to focus it into our living consciousness and the living consciousness of all humans?
Okay. Isar Maria Jacob Maria Yare Amakia me Hanyariana Mane Om Yema Mari.
And that is the tone of life. Experiential life on earth, creating the resonance of the future and our growth potentials and our intent. And so it is. Now we'll take our attention into earth mind and work with soothing the earthquakes. There is quite a buildup of intensity around the earth. So take your awareness to Southern California. Drop down through the frequencies into earth mind. And feel the earthquake grid. And lift the stress energy building up of earthquakes that have not released yet. Lift those upward, up your spine, through the 0 point, through the crown chakra, up into the ionosphere, into the golden grid we've created around the earth to protect and shield earth. And we reach out into the earthquakes, potentials, release those potential earthquakes, carrying that energy upward. We know the Earth's movements must occur, but you hold those down to the intensity of the 3 to 4 region where they don't do any damage. Now take your awareness into San Diego region, the San Andreas Fault, and that slip thrust fault that runs the full length of California, or lift that energy upward, focusing on Los Angeles. San Francisco, and northward to the Oregon line, where we meet where that San Andreas Fault meets the San Juan de Fuca plate, the Pacific plate. And there's a lot of activity there, new activity to pull that energy upward. Now move eastward from that point to the Sierra Nevada mountains, running the full length from Mount Hood all the way down through, and the continuation of the Cascade Range down into the Southern California, the subduction, lift that energy upward. Now move eastward to the root of the Rocky Mountains in Nevada, northward through Utah, on through to the Yellowstone, go into the Yellowstone caldera, lift that energy upward, relaxing those stresses. Now continue on northward to the Canadian line and up into the Rocky Mountains, releasing any stress into Canada. Now to the Pacific Northwest. There is some mid-range activity coming up the Willamette Valley through the Cascade Range. Lift that upward all the way through the Olympic Peninsula. Now move northward along the border of the Pacific Plate and the Canadian landmass. There's a series of new earthquakes occurring, indicating new shifts through a wide range of the entire length of the Gulf of Alaska, subducting under the Aleutian Plate, the Bering Sea Plate. New activity. Lift that upward and on up into central Alaska, where there's a 6.2 west-northwest of Willow, Alaska. New activity up through central Alaska, all the way to the North Slope. This indicates a major increase in the general activity of Earth stress. It's particularly through the Aleutian chain, where we were fairly quiet the last time. It's really intensified, which indicates a major change going on. And that's reflected down through the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench to Japan, where normally there's 3 or 4 small to medium earthquakes. There's at least 30 that have popped up in the last few days. Release that stress. And that continues right on down through on the Mariana Trench. But in Japan, we want to take that energy that's being released and create a tornado of energy that picks up all the radiation. The radiation from the reactors and that has been released into the atmosphere. Pull that upward into the golden grid, transmuting it into beneficial energy. And come on down into the Philippines. Through this entire Philippine and Indonesia region, there's easily 3 times the earthquakes that we've been experiencing, and they are of mid-range activity, which has a tremendous amount of energy being released. Pull that all upward out of that entire Indonesian area. Interesting. Now move your awareness eastward to New Guinea, the Solomon Islands. On through to Tonga, where there are dozens of new earthquakes. Now they come down that trench to New Zealand. And across the Pacific to Argentina. There seems to be less activity over here. Pull in the full length of the Andes Mountains up through Argentina and Peru. Subduction energy. Lift it upward, release it. and on up into Central America. Release the subduction energy there. And eastward to the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Cluster of small earthquakes. Then to the north to Iceland. Release the energy from the volcano west of Hoffen. It's up to 5.3 today. Now down into the Mediterranean area where there's new earthquakes popping up. So we release the energy from the entire Mediterranean area. And further eastward to the Caspian Sea at Karush, Russia. And southward to Deloran, Iran. Eastward to Pakistan. Northward into Afghanistan. And eastward into the plateau of Tibet. And eastward into Yuchang, China, 5.1. I come eastward to the Hawaiian Islands, release the ongoing stress there. Back to our point of beginning and into central United States, around Oklahoma, where the fracking activity is increasingly creating more stress. We release that. To come back to our point of beginning. Now bring your consciousness level back up into the mid-range human consciousness level, the morphogenic field of humans. And we bring in, once again, the photon flow into the morphogenic field of all humans. It's already there working on all humans. We direct our intent to stimulate growth of consciousness, movement away from the domination force energy into dominion. And we direct the flow of the galactic flow into the morphogenic field of all humans to instill unconditional love and understanding of dominion. The realization that we are all one, and when one suffers, all suffer. Clearing all domination, bringing the principles and realization, the activation, amplified by the photon energy. And you feel the photon energy in yourself quite strongly, particularly in your foreheads. Bring that down through your hands again and into the globe of earth between your hands. Directed by our soul intent to bring unconditional love into all living things, peace and harmony, enlightenment, fulfillment of our destinies. And feel in your 0 point, your heart, the self-realization that we are co-creators. It's our responsibility to create our futures and to be responsible for what we create. So in all of our thoughts and projections, we amplify dominion, express dominion, live dominion, and bring it into form in the 4th dimension as we progress into the 5th dimension. And so it is. Now, would any of you like to express any intent or desire into the field while we're still holding the field?
Yes, Frank. We were meditating yesterday and we came up. Can you hear me okay? Am I being heard? Okay. And that was about dominion. And what started it all was a thought that said, find a timeline where dominion is already there. Then as a moment went by, Earth is dominion. And people actually do act as such. They, quite often, their common sense and their natural instincts are really living in dominion. But we've been interfered with, and things have been corrupted, let's say. But really, the thought that dominion is already here, it's not something that we're seeking, but it's something that we're allowing to grow and to remember. So, yeah.
That's right.
So act like it's already here.
We're creating the shift, but the self-realization it is already here, and acting it out, living it, and expressing is what puts it into effect and form. Very good. Do you have any other?
One of the things I'm seeing is that people have cleared the way, as you speak of, and that so much joy is filling their hearts, and that innocence is returned, and the grace and the beauty within comes back, and we are creating a world of such beauty and love and dominion. It is of such magnificence that words can't even express it, because it's just such beauty. And I just see the joy returning and people leaping with joy and dancing, and just there's a true happiness within.
Right on, sister. Jubilee. Freedom.
And this is the cycle that we're experiencing right now of moving out of the cycle of domination into the cycle of dominion, which is empowered, stimulated by the photon belt. And that's why we're learning to work with the energy of the photons to amplify our intent. And we can all take time to experience that and apply it in our own lives. Because as it expresses to us, everyone is affected. Okay, if there are no further requests or comments, we can turn it over back to Gary and JP, and we thank everyone for being here and participating, and hold dominion in your hearts as it expresses through the 0 point into the reality of everything.
Love is everywhere. Tune into it.
This is Universal Mind Radio and Wolf Spirit Radio signing off with Frank Jordan. Are we going to see you again on Saturday, Frank?
Oh, absolutely. We'll always be here.
Okay.
Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Looking towards Sunday and our evening show at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we welcome all the new contacts we're making around the world in New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, the European countries, wherever we touch through the radio. Right. We welcome you and send you all total unconditional love.
Exactly. And on universalmindradio.com, you'll find links there to Frank's website, Cytronics.com. You can go there, set up an appointment to have a personal consultation with Frank. And he's helped me, he's helped everybody that he ever gets close. Anybody that gets close to Frank is going to get to a higher level of consciousness. It's inevitable. It can't be stopped. So that's why I'm here. And that's his website there. He has dowsing tools that he invented. One of the greatest, slickest little dowsing tool you ever saw. He's been a dowser, master dowser for years. And if you feel like supporting him, he has a donate button there. And you can and he has books that he's written and many things there. So check it out when you get a chance. Okay, everybody. Thanks for the show. We're signing off here.